I just wanted to remind you that this cis notation is shorthand for cosine theta plus I sine theta when we're working with trig form of a complex number. So your textbook will have answers that look like this, but I am totally fine with you using this shorthand notation that looks like this. All right, and our last example for this part of this section, we want to change the complex number, which is in trigonometric form, to standard form. So you can see that we have z equals a radius of square root of 8, and then cosine theta plus I sine theta. And our goal is to put it back in standard form. Well, this is really easy because we're just going to simplify each of these trig functions. We have to figure out the cosine of negative pi over 3 and sine of negative pi over 3. Well, if we plot negative pi over 3, I know it's down here in quadrant 4, and I know with this type of 30, 60, 90 triangle, the cosine is the x value, which is a half, and the sine is the y value, which is negative root 3 over 2. And I know this just from memorizing that unit circle. So we've got square root of 8 times the cosine of negative pi over 3, which is 1/2, plus I times the sine of negative pi over 3, which is negative root 3 over 2. And then we can clean all this up a little bit. If we distribute that square root of 8, we have the square root of 8 over 2 plus I times negative, that would be square root 24 over 2. Square root of 8 we can think about as 4 times 2, and square root of 4 is 2, so we have 2 root 2 over 2 minus the square root of 4 again is 2, and we have an I, and we have a square root of 6 left over 2. And finally, we have root 2 minus root 6i. So your standard form, remember, should always look like a plus bi. The I comes at the end, and the real part comes first. The imaginary part comes second. That's going to be it for the first part of section 7.1.